Sup guys, it's your boy Malone again. I hope you enjoyed our previous videos of the tournament. We're going to do a different approach today and we're going to talk about the upcoming hero adjustments. So this is something that might be quite important for a lot of new players since this is a GuiltyGear Collab. So GuiltyGear is coming back and they're coming of the same units from before. Elphelt, Soul, Bikin, and Dizzy. But this time we're getting some balance adjustments for Soul and for Elphelt. The thing is, Soul's been out for a while and Elphelt's been out for a while as well. They've been known as just like trophy waifus, right? Or like, let's say storage box units. No one really ever uses them. But the thing is, like, we get them, right? We get 6 souls every time we do this. Let me try to show you. So imprints, I have max imprint soul. Soul is a unit we get for free, just for completing the story. If you complete the story and manage to buy out the shop. So yeah, I have 6 extra souls in the waiting room. If you just do the story mode, you do the achievements, you get 6 souls for free. Well, not for free, but like you put time in for the currencies, right? And you get the currency to buy the soul. So soul is something you eventually get for free. So him just getting buffs is kind of insane. It's a thing that we should really look at because everybody should have him, right? There's no reason to not have him. And the other unit's Alpha. Let's go through Soul's notes first. I'm gonna pull up the document where the updates are happening. Okay, so this is the developer notes. Balance adjustment targets will be 5-star Covenant Soul and 5-star Covenant Elphelt. So Soul is getting adjustments on all his skills. Yeah, so I think he's getting adjustments on all his skills. Alright, so the S1 is, before it used to just gain 20 fighting spirit when a critical hit is made, but now whenever Soul hits with his S1, he gets fighting spirit. And then his S1 is now when you activate Roman Cancel, when a caster's fighting spirit is 100 after attacking, cannot be triggered by counterattack. So that means when he counterattacks, it doesn't trigger, but when it's on his turn, he'll trigger it. Roman Cancel consumes all fighting spirit and extends the duration of buffs granted to the caster by 1 turn, before granting the caster 1 extra turn. This is something huge to take in, because this really affects his S2. And we're just going to go straight into his S2. So previously his S2 is, he'll launch Volcanic Viper whenever an enemy does a non-attack skill. So that's kind of whatever, right? It doesn't really, we've seen him with Celine, it's just like another Celine thing. This doesn't really do much. But now it's, when an enemy uses a non-attack skill, increases combat readiness by the caster by 20%, and gain 20 fighting spirit. When suffering an attack that targets all allies, activate Volcanic Viper against all the attackers. Sorry. The effect is not activated by counterattack. It means this is not. It doesn't work against Landy's S3. Sorry, Landy's S3 will not trigger it. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So Landy's S3 is that she can't be counterattacked, right? But this effect is not considered a counterattack. So Landy's S3 will get hit still, and Athletica's S2 is the same, right? Athletica's S2 is that you cannot be counterattacked, but this is not a counterattack, right? So Athletica and Landy can still get hit by this S2, which is huge, right? This is something that can maybe one-shot like Athletica, depending on the soul build, right? We have to dare craft and test the damage out for this. Dual attack or extra attack, each effect can only be activated once every 2 turns. So the whole thing about the S1 where Roman Cancel gives someone extra turns means that this gets reduced, right? I think Roman Cancel means he gets 2 turns, right? So the first turn he does his S1 and then Roman Cancel activates. That's a second turn. That means this refreshes. This actually refreshes. It's actually nuts if he gets AoE enough during the first turn. No, I guess it doesn't work like that, right? So he can only get when enemy uses a non-attack skill, increase combat readiness of the caster by 20%, gain 20 fighting spirit. So it just buffs, right? I guess if they stack enough buffs, he could build his fighting spirit fast enough. I guess it may take some time overall, but I guess Landy, this might be huge, because you know Landy is known for just repeatedly S3ing, right? And that takes time to build up for her. So for Soul to actually build up his S2 come back again, it's actually might be a reasonable counter to Landy. And we know that Landy is quite a big issue in RTA right now, right? Everybody's drafting Landy. There's not much counter to Landy besides buffable. We might see some RTA play from Soul, a free-to-play unit. It's kind of insane to believe. And I think this is the S3, Tyrant Rave. After attacking, increase additional damage regardless of whether the attack hits. Wait, isn't this just like what's that artifact called for the attack? Isn't this just like guys help me here. Guys help me here. Isn't this just like drink? Yeah, Ringar's drink, right? And Uber's tooth. So this might be decent on Rowlet, guys. So let's say it misses on the Rowlet, right? I'll still do additional damage to Rowlet. It's kind of a thing that might be pretty nice. I don't know for sure. Soul might feel pretty good into Landy, so we gotta keep that in mind. And Landy's been quite an issue. Soul's also got HP buff. Interesting. Yeah, so I think TDR for Soul, I think this is quite interesting. His S3 is insane for Biserial and Kieran, yep, for sure, because the unbuffable Kierans and Assyria and the S3 do extra damage at the end, means that I could just one pop them. And it's cool that just like a free-to-play unit that usually like free-to-play units never really get into the meta, right? It's kind of hard for them just to get the meta because Spellgate doesn't want to overbuff anything. But this buff might be decent, guys. Yeah, TWR, decent into Landies, I think. Potentially one-shot Athleticas. Just an interesting unit, right? Because right now, nobody, like, the meta is you want to pick Basar, and it kind of hurts to pick Landy or like just like Vivian after, right? Because you don't want to stack too much green units because they might pull out the Fire Ravi. But now you have a second option, right? Instead of picking up the Fire Ravi, hey, you can pick up the Soul. So it's quite interesting to note that we now have a new decent fire DPS. He's a bruiser-ish because he's a warrior. You can even put like Sigurd's Scythe on him. It's just artifact-wise, you might just go. Maybe Sigurd's the best one. Yeah, actually Sigurd sounds pretty nice, right? Let's say they drop him low enough with S3 AoE. He just counters with S2, heals some HP back up. Interesting, right? I think Soul might be decent. Just keep it in mind, guys. He's no one to sleep on right now. Like after the buffs. Let's do something real quick and check what's the rating on Soul right now. I wanted to see before this, right? Because you know how Basira had like a 3.4 rating before her buffs, and now her rating is like 1.1 after the buffs. It's kind of like, let's keep this in mind, right? Let's see how much it would change. Warrior. So 4.9. What? Monka, what? Wait, what? Wait, am I missing something here? When dragons and stuff. Can we buff passive to proc once per turn instead of every 2? His new S2 should attack with advantage element. Oh, what? If he's a 4.9 for 4 buffs, he should be a 5 after buffs, right? Alright. This is Monka. Alright, that was a surprise for sure. Okay. So since we're done with yeah, so was mostly a golem farmer, right? So now that he's getting these buffs, he could potentially be like an RTA unit. We know that he's always gonna golems, but it's not what we play the game for, right? We're no PvE player. Okay, so now we're done with Salt. Let's look at Elphelt. Elphelt rating is, yikes. That's what we thought for Soul. How long is it gonna take for you to fix her? She's finally as good as she looks. Huh? Her buffs are actually insane. Oh yeah, okay. They're already talking about her buffs. Okay. Interesting. This is the stat line we thought Soul was gonna get, maybe even lower. Thought Soul would be like a 3. But let's look at the Elphelt buff. People are assuming that the Elphelt buff might be like a game changer, where this might shift the meta. It's a huge thing because the meta has been quite stagnant for a bit. So let's look at why people think that this might change the meta. Alright, Elphelt. So her S1 damage is increased. Pretty nice. We always take those. So let's see. Her S2 is, before it was just traps the enemy in a cake before attacking the enemy with a cake cutting blade and affects critical hit, and increasing critical hit chance of all allies for 2 turns. When the enemy is defeated, it can decrease defense of all enemies for 2 turns. Yeah, so now this time it is after buff is traps the enemy in a cake before attacking them with a cake cutting blade and increasing attack of all allies for 2 turns. When the enemy is asleep, decrease defense of all allies for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases proportional to the number of debuffs affecting that enemy. So the reason why they say when the enemy is asleep, decrease defense of all enemies for 2 turns is because it's her S3, right? Her S3 is now dispel 2 buffs, which is insane because before I was only dispelling 1 buff. This is a huge buff because now it can ignore FCCs. So her S3 dispels 2 buffs from the enemy before shooting a bullet of love, with a 100% chance to put them to sleep for 2 turns. 2 turns is huge as well. Grants the caster extra turn. Insane, right? After awakening, dispel 2 buffs from the enemy before shooting a bullet of love, with a 100% chance of each to put them to sleep, and decrease defense for 2 turns. So you're putting them to sleep and increasing defense for 2 turns on 1 unit. And then, wait, you're also stripping them, decrease the sleep, stripping them, putting them to sleep, and decrease defense for 2 turns, and getting an extra turn. So now that they're asleep, you increase attack of all allies, and then you deal damage proportional to the amount of debuffs on the enemy. And when the enemy is asleep, decrease defense of all enemies for 2 turns. Okay, guys. So TDLR, she puts 1 unit to sleep, she decreases defense of all enemies, and she increases attack of all allies. Kinda nuts, isn't it? Her damage increased on S2 as well. Just a little nuts, right? Did I say that clearly enough? She strips a unit of 2 debuffs, defense breaks, puts them to sleep, then she increases attack of all allies, and then when the enemy is asleep, decrease defense of all enemies. Yeah. That's a lot of things incoming. Yeah, it's 2 turn sleep, 2 turn defense break, 2 turn attack buff. Yeah, that's kind of nuts, guys. The important thing is, the main thing is how fast she is. So that, in general, that's insane. Like just debuff line. That's a lot of stats, right? But we gotta see how fast. Oh wait, we should have done it back there. Yeah, let's just do back in the hero gym. We gotta see how fast she is, right? This is what makes or breaks her. Okay. So 6-star awakened. She's 115 speed. It's not bad, right? 115 speed. Let's see. My only worrisome part is Basar's. So Basar is 108. That means you generally outspeed Basar's, and that you could do this to Basar, so you could sleep Basar's turn 1. That's kind of nice. You outspeed Basar, so you're not too worried about speed contest there. The only issue is like, let's say you might come across F10. Oops, that's not me. F10. Because her stat line is 115 speed as well, right? So you're kind of speed contesting, but you don't really want her as fast as unit, right? You still want that Cerise to go first to strip the whole team for you. So the reason why people say this might be a game changer, a meta changer, let's in theory, let's try to make a team off this, right? So in theory, let's say this: you have your Cerise. Cerise goes turn 1, strips the whole enemy, right? Strips everyone. Then Elphelt goes. What Elphelt does is, the whole enemy is already stripped. You don't need to worry about missing or hitting your strip. But thing is, you land your defense break, right? You land your defense break, you land your sleep, and then you go again because you have your S3 gives you extra turn. She gives you extra turn, so now you S2. The S2 means you attack buff your whole team, and then you also defense break the whole team, right? So this just means that the whole enemy is defense broken. If you have a 260 or something RB after, you don't even need to worry about your attack line no more, right? Because they're all defense broken. Why do you have her in S? Oh, I have her on S because I tried to pull for miscon file. It took me 3 copies, I think 4 copies of her until I got my first miscon file. But yeah, guys, this is why people are saying that Elphelt may be the new meta. So for sure, she's not a bad unit. She's decently fast and her skill set is amazing. If you're a cleaver, it's a must-have, man. If you're just a normal tank player, be wary, guys. She might be a bit fearsome. But yeah, guys, for the new GuiltyGear Collab, the units that are coming out this time, they're getting some new reworks, so they're getting some new buffs. So maybe nice to keep in mind this time, right? If you're planning to skip them, or if you're planning to skip Elphelt, I think she's more better than Biken now, right? Right now, Dizzy and Biken aren't what they used. Elphelt might be the main carry this time. But yeah, guys, this has been Malona's balance adjustments talk. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them in below and I'll answer them for you. But I hope you enjoyed. We'll be coming back with these more, or we'll be trying to pump up these videos, guys. If you like the video, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.